Okay, welcome to part 3, our final part of the career research paper. At this point, you're ready to start writing. And so you'll have your career research paper already set up. You should already have your introduction, which I don't on this example, but you should have your introduction done. And then where you're at now is ready to start this career assessments. Now, I've given you some notes on here, but one of those notes is read the helpful paragraphs. I did put these paragraphs here to make your job easy. So this tells you exactly what kind of information needs to go here. Now you're going to talk about your results from some of your career assessments, which means you're going to need to go open up your personality quizzes, this slideshow that we've been adding stuff to all class long. So what I might want to do then, let's say that I decided I wanted to be an accountant, and accountants are generally introverted, and I was an introvert, then I might go and find information that says that that's common for that. But I can't take it from this slideshow, right? I've got to go find that from a website because I've got to go pull that information in and use it as evidence. So let me pull you up my example paper, which, by the way, I also have a link to in here so you can get to it right here. And remember, it's longer than yours has to be. But here I talk about how I took them all. One of the first tests I took, which identified my personality type, found me to be an ENTJ. That particular year, I was an ENTJ. I float, by the way, between extrovert and introvert. I'm like a 48-52 kind of thing. But anyway, so you're going to put that in there, and I said that ENTJ stands for that. So you're going to want to do that, but you have to find the website that tells you what the ENTJ stands for. So that comes from the Myers-Briggs, and all of you did that. So if you are going to go look for that information, you could just go out and Google it. So I could come up in here and type Myers-Briggs personality. It's the 16. I just put 15, but it knows. Okay, and then I can go in and actually find the personality types. So I'm going to go in here, and then you could go find out whichever letters you turned up to be. So if you are a INFP, then click on that page, and then you're going to want to include this in your works cited. So you're going to have to add it in there, but then you can talk about an INFP as someone who's introverted, intuitive, feeling, and prospecting. And it says these are rare personality types, they're quiet, open-minded, they're caring, they're shy. So you can kind of like just skim read this and see like what are some things in here that are going to match with that career you chose. But this is like evidence that this is your personality type and that it relates. Okay, so that's how you're going to work these in. So you may have to visit some websites, and remember, as you visit them, go ahead and get the works cited and add them in, because now we're actually in the composing part of this. So you're going to add them in alphabetical order based on whatever the first word is. So make sure that you do that. So here's my MBTI basics page, and then this was the page that it actually came from. And then make sure again that you are using your citation link to cite those, and I think that was on the second one. I'm gonna have to hit previous twice, I think, to get back. Oh, one more, all the way back to the first one. There's a link here to citations. This is going to take you to the citation generator, and this is the MLA. So if I was going to use this, remember, you're going to go back in, copy that, put it into the generator, paste. But remember, sometimes we don't have all information. It couldn't find an author or a publisher or publication date. So I may have to add some additional information if I can find it. I don't think this one actually has an author. 16 personalities is the publisher and the site. There's really nothing else in here that's going to be useful. So that one we can use as is. So I say complete citation. And then I can copy, that's my other one. Not sure where that one went. But, okay. This one, please. And yeah, we don't need to put in the rest of that. So complete citation. There it is. Okay. And so here it is. And then I can go ahead and put that in my bibliography. Now, see, I don't like this one because it takes the title. See that? It takes the title from up here. Now, if you've had web design, you know that the title, if I pull this out, is the big long thing that appears in the title bar. And since this is the introduction page, that's what it used as the title. I don't know that I would call that the title of this page. I would probably call it this. So you may have to kind of look at this yourself and decide whether or not that is going to be the proper title or not. Like look on the page yourself, sorry, and you may need to change that title so that it actually is the title that's on the page. Anyway, you're going to add that in as you go, and then continue writing. So we'll put that in, talk about your career. I actually talked about a lot of my assessments in here, but only so you could see different ways to talk about it. You do not have to talk about every single career assessment. I would pick maybe two that we did and use those, and particularly two that tie to the job you want. So in this example, I say, after examining all my results, becoming a fitness instructor is in line with my future career aspirations, and I explain why. Some of the survey data points point me this direction. So not all of my results said that's best for me, but some of them did, and then I found ways to tie in what I thought my personality fit well as far as with that. Okay, then you go to career path. Again, in your instructions, I tell what career cluster in the 16 clusters your career falls into, what are other careers in the path, etc. I'm not going to read all this to you because you can certainly read, but I do want to mention in career summary. Once you get to career summary, we're not saying I anymore. So this entire section that has all of the indented ones, all the subheadings, this is all going to be research paper. So no I statements. You won't say my or I or any of that. This is all just like strictly research. Okay? Now, you'll analyze that research when we come back. Oops, I didn't bold this. When we come back to my rationale and career plan. So then you'll tie back into all of that stuff. So what's your rationale for wanting that career? Well, here, you're going to explain why you believe you're a good fit. Because you like that job outlook, or despite the fact that the pay is not the greatest, or because you do want to go to college and this is going to require a certain amount of education or whatever. Okay, so this is where you'll tie it to that research. And then other career interests are just going to be maybe other careers that were mentioned in your personality test that you didn't choose as your highest one, maybe a backup plan if this career doesn't go out, or maybe there's a career that doesn't require college and you think you want to go to college right now, but if you were to change your mind, maybe this would be a different career that you would do if you didn't want to go that route. So talk about those and why, and if you do refer back to some survey results, mention them in there. But that's essentially the process for creating the rest of this paper. So again, don't feel bad if you have to go get some additional research. You may have to go back in and do some more research. That just may be necessary, okay? The other thing I'm going to say is email me in baby steps. So if you want me to look at a couple of paragraphs, just shoot me an email and paste them in there. And I can get you some input on that. Now, I'm not going to go proofread all your errors and fix everything for you so that when you turn it in, it's perfect 100. It still has to be your work, but I'll help you reword something. So maybe you send it to me and you highlight in red and you're like, I am having so much trouble with this sentence. It doesn't make any sense. Help. And then I'll help you. Or if you have a whole little section and you're like, does this have enough information, or do I need another source or whatever? Shoot me an email. Put career research paper in the subject line so I know that's what it is, and then I'll get back to you within 24 hours with some feedback on that. As long as you're giving me little steps, I can get you feedback quickly, but I can't read a whole paper and get you feedback quickly. So use this one kind of as a guide if you're not quite sure what's going on, and always let me know if you have any questions about the paper. Your finished paper probably won't be 10 or 11 pages like mine, but it should be a pretty good length, because if you look at it, even with my instructions, I mean, it's 4 pages, even if you didn't write very much. And nobody should be that short. So I would say minimum 5 pages on this paper. That's probably about where most of you will be. And some of my people who like to write, yours may be a little bit longer than that. But I would say roughly 5 pages is what you're aiming for. 5 to 6 pages would probably be just about right. So, all right, so use your career planning sheet that you should have completed. Start pulling in information from that and plugging it into where it goes. Work on transition phrases, like how do you go from saying one thing to the next? It shouldn't just be a bunch of bulleted lists. It shouldn't be any bulleted list because it's a paper, right? So I did give you some little things here to use under your career assessment. So when you're talking about those career assessments, don't just be like, I am an INTJ. I am an INTJ because I like this. I always da-da-da-da-da-da. So, don't start everything with I in that section. So like in my personal life, I enjoy, or through involvement in da-da-da-da-da, or since I participate in band, or my experience playing soccer, or whatever. So instead of saying, I played soccer, or I'm in band, or I work at Hardee's, think about ways that you can reword that like this. And I've put that in there just to help you. I know that people struggle with that. And if you come up with some other things that you have questions about, I'll add them on here for the benefit of everybody else. So the main thing in here is break it into little steps for yourself. Take a section a day. I think that's really the easiest way, is to kind of like pick a section and focus in on it, and then pick another couple sections and focus in on those, and it should come together rather quickly. Let me know if you have any questions, and good luck.